Sue finds Reed searching methodically through the medicine cabinet for aloe iodine. Objects clatter as he fumbles through bottles. Betadine, chlorhexidine. Sue watches with patience, points out the location with amusement, and Reed retrieves it with a curious expression. A test beeps softly inside. Sue holds a pregnancy test in her trembling hands, staring at the positive result with disbelief and wonder. After 2 years of hoping and waiting, this moment finally arrives. Reed enters the bathroom and instantly realizes what has happened. Sue stops his immediate spiral into protocols, insisting they can do this together. She needs his certainty, not calculations. Reed pulls her close and assures her nothing will change. An announcer celebrates 4 years of the Fantastic Four on national television before adoring crowds. Flashback sequences show Reed assembling the crew for a dangerous space mission. His best friend Ben, his wife Sue, and his brother-in-law Johnny, and the Excelsior rocket launches with tremendous energy. Mid-flight, cosmic rays strike the vessel hard. Control loses signal as Reed realizes the cosmic storm has altered their DNA. The ship barely manages to return. Video montages show the 4 fighting Mole Man at the Pan Am Tower and saving civilians from the rubble. They battle the Mad Thinker in the city streets. They defeat Red Ghost and his super apes with teamwork. Reed demonstrates an equation proving alternate dimensions and parallel Earths exist. Johnny yawns through the science lecture. Sue brokers a peace deal with Mole Man, forming the Future Foundation. Crowds cheer gratefully. Sunday dinner unfolds at the Baxter Building with obvious tension. Herbie carefully preps the meal as the team gathers around the table. Johnny nearly ruins his appetite by snacking before they begin. The family arrives 1 minute late with excuses ready. Breakfast cereal sits oddly on the dinner table. Johnny notices their nervous behavior immediately. Something is different. He probes directly. They are expecting a child. The announcement ripples through the group with electric excitement. Johnny laughs aloud, teasing that Reed cannot keep secrets. His guilty face gave everything away. The team celebrates together enthusiastically. Ben and Johnny promise to be the best uncles ever, though they tease Reed about being out of his depth as a father. Preparations begin for the nursery. Herbie constructs a standard crib. Reed builds something far more complex. An announcer reports that Yancey Street bookies are betting on a girl's birth at 4 to 5 odds. The preparations inside the Baxter Building accelerate dramatically. Sue and Reed scan the baby thoroughly, checking vital signs with the advanced Interna-scan device. A deep space transmission arrives unexpectedly. Reed and Johnny work together on bridge teleportation tests, moving organic matter precisely 6 meters across the laboratory. A breaker sparks dangerously. Johnny resets the system. Sue lies in the medical bed while Reed stands beside her, anxiety written across his face. Cosmic protocols weigh heavily on his mind. What if the baby carries their mutations? Sue reveals the ultrasound image deliberately to ease his fears. The heartbeat thumps steadily on the monitor. She insists emphatically that nothing is wrong with him. He is absolutely perfect. Reed laughs with relief and joy. Halloween arrives, and autumn excitement fills the city. Ben visits Maisie's bakery, where children throng around him, begging him to lift and throw a car. He resists their chanting, but their enthusiasm eventually wears him down. A vehicle lifts briefly before he sets it down safely. Rachel greets him warmly. They grew up together on Yancey Street. Ben mentions missing the cookies they used to steal. Rachel invites him inside. Ben carefully prepares the meringue, debating whether to add vinegar for texture. Johnny is downcast following his failed meeting with Reed about designing new suits. Ben understands his frustration completely. They discuss returning to space adventures in the near future. A Johnny Storm figurine sits collecting dust on the shelf. Reed announces proudly that the crib is finished perfectly. Sirens wail outside the building. This is Reed's work, tracking 47 criminal organizations, babyproofing the world. Debris falls from the sky above Times Square. An object descends slowly, wrapped in a cosmic alien presence. A herald addresses the team directly. The world is marked for death. Galactus the Devourer approaches, a universal force as essential as stars themselves. Nothing can stop him. The herald urges humanity to hold loved ones close and speak words long feared. Time is short. Johnny races upward into the night sky. 5 planets have disappeared without a trace, each selected with meticulous precision and utterly destroyed. Reed identifies the pattern. The Herald's energy signature matches DA773, Galactus's messenger. Her presence connects to every planetary obliteration. The creature can do precisely what she claims. consume worlds entirely. The Excelsior needs 20 hours for full launch readiness, but the window closes in just 16. Either they escape Earth's gravity, or Galactus arrives to devour the entire planet. Johnny insists the Herald spoke to him directly in her own language with warmth and kindness, never threatening. He describes looking into her beautiful face, seeing stars reflected in her luminous features, watching himself mirrored back in her alien eyes with an intimate connection. Ben dismisses it as Johnny's typical obsession with exotic women, noting the Herald was likely stellar polymer. Still, Reed prepares new spacesuits for the team, checking every seal for the impossible mission ahead. The Excelsior pierces the atmosphere with thunderous power, engines roaring against gravity and air resistance. Earth broadcasts its farewell horns honk throughout cities. Crowds cheer as reporters wish the crew Godspeed. The massive ship accelerates into starlight, carrying humanity's last hope toward the binary system LHS-275, where the Herald's energy signature draws them forward like a beacon in the darkness. During faster-than-light travel, Ben tracks the Herald to locate Galactus. Reed outlines their approach. Observe, assess capabilities, collect physical samples through Herbie any liquid, gas, or solid materials, analyze the entity's physiology thoroughly. If Galactus is just some guy in a ship, they can punch him out. Johnny cheers enthusiastically, while Ben snores through the explanation, entirely unimpressed by tactical science. The ship approaches the dark side of a system's larger planet cautiously. Alarms scream through corridors constantly. Sensors detect something massive occurring below them. Reed reports the Herald's heat signature emanates from inside the world itself. Ben demands to know what's happening and what could be alive down there, powerful enough to cause such readings. Then they see Galactus emerges, an impossibly vast cosmic entity tearing the entire planet into fragments of rock and matter. The world, 13% larger than Earth, shatters like crystal beneath the creature's hunger. The Excelsior's engines suddenly lock down, unresponsive to commands. Gravitational forces grip the ship, pulling it directly into destruction. Ben struggles desperately at the controls, while the team braces for impact. Sue renders the ship invisible, just as an enormous cosmic shadow envelops them. The Silver Surfer appears on external sensors, her form gleaming in starlight as she glides toward them through the vacuum. The Herald extends her invitation. Galactus will see them. She demands they all come immediately, warning that they should not have come to this place. Sue writhes in agonizing pain, her body seized by powerful contractions. She is in active labor. Ben navigates corridors with frantic determination, urgently moving his pregnant wife toward the escape vessel. Sue gasps between waves of pain, her breathing ragged and desperate with each contraction. They reach the small ship, and Ben accelerates toward the main FTL engine with reckless speed. Herbie works frantically to stabilize all systems as Sue's contractions intensify dangerously. The Silver Surfer closes in from behind, her vessel cutting through space with lethal precision. Alarms shriek warnings constantly. Ben initiates a jump sequence, destination unknown. The wormhole tears open violently and chaotically. Both vessels shudder as Sue screams, a contraction tearing through her body mid-jump. They lose her briefly. Scanners flash clear momentarily. Then she returns, reigniting her pursuit relentlessly without mercy. Reed commands Johnny to kill her. She wants to take their unborn child. Johnny ignites his powers, firing flame bursts repeatedly across space, but the wormhole bends his energy beams, scattering them uselessly into the void. The chase continues through wormholes and across space. Reed devises a desperate gambit. They drop out of FTL near a massive neutron star with incredible gravitational force. Ben questions whether its pull will kill them all. Reed insists they move closer to danger. His plan crystallizes. Trap the Surfer near the star's gravity well, where time dilation will trap her for a month. The ship shudders as stellar forces grip it relentlessly. Ben complains that the star is chewing them up from the inside. Reed demands they move even closer to the event horizon. Sue endures another contraction, gasping desperately between breaths. Reed requests 30 seconds of invisibility from her. Sue nods, confirming she can hold it after her next contraction hits. Time becomes their only weapon against impossible odds. The Fantastic Four touch down to a hero's welcome, the roar of the crowd deafening as they navigate the press gauntlet. Reporters thrust microphones forward, desperate for details on the victory over Galactus. Reed hesitates, exchanging a heavy glance with Sue before stammering the terrifying truth: they did not win. The cosmic entity demanded a trade Earth's safety for the Richards' newborn son, Franklin. When Reed confirms they refused, the atmosphere shatters. Panic ripples through the gathered masses as the realization hits: they are not safe. Inside the lab, the team scrambles for alternatives. Ben suggests a direct assault, but Reed shoots it down. Conventional weapons are useless against a being that predates the universe. Tensions mount as Reed confesses he has no plan, his databanks offering no solution to a godlike entity. He spirals, obsessing over Archimedes' law of levers, the idea that the right small force can move a mountain. He tells the team they need to find a lever, a solvable problem that could tip the scales against the impossible. Johnny works feverishly on the alien transmissions Herbie recorded, pulling Sue aside to share a breakthrough. He plays a snippet of the alien language, translating a grim phrase: "Die with yours." It's a Rosetta Stone, a key to understanding the Herald's history. While Reed's mind is locked on physics, Johnny focuses on the linguistic puzzle, convinced that understanding their enemy's communication is the lever they need. News broadcasts confirm the worst. Galactus has passed Jupiter. The global mood shifts from fear to anger. Protesters swarm the Baxter building, demanding the team hand over the child to save humanity. Inside, the team watches the world fracture under the weight of impending doom. The pressure fractures the team's resolve. Reed coldly posits that surrendering Franklin is the only mathematical solution, a simulation of the worst-case scenario that devastates Sue. She rejects his logic, refusing to choose between her son and the world. Stepping onto the balcony, she faces the hostile crowd. She introduces Franklin to the mob, humanizing the sacrifice they are demanding. She vows to fight, declaring they will move heaven and earth to save everyone. The phrase sparks an epiphany in Reed. They don't need to move heaven, just earth. Reed hijacks the airwaves to unveil the desperate plan, turn the teleportation bridge into a planetary engine. They will transport Earth to a new solar system, out of Galactus's reach. He calls for immediate global mobilization, requesting massive stockpiles of plutonium and labor to construct a network of synchronized bridges. The world unites, adversaries becoming allies as humanity digs in to build its own escape route. The logistics prove brutal. Herbie calculates that the jump requires more energy than the grid can sustain. Reed initiates a worldwide blackout, ordering every light on Earth extinguished to conserve power. Alone, he records a video log for Franklin, stripping away his genius persona to admit his deep-seated fears of inadequacy as a father. He vows to stop analyzing and start trusting his son's future. As the countdown hits 0, the global grid goes dark, diverting all energy to the bridges. The hum of the machine builds, but the sequence is violently interrupted. The Silver Surfer crashes through the perimeter, tearing through the facility's defenses. She ignores the team, her focus solely on the child. Chaos erupts as debris rains down, threatening to sever the connection before the jump can initiate. Amidst the wreckage, Johnny confronts the Herald, shouting words in her native tongue. He reveals he knows her name, Shalabal. The revelation stuns her. Johnny exposes her tragic history. She was a scientist on Zen-La who sacrificed her humanity to become the Herald, sparing her world by feeding others to her master. She is not a monster, but a desperate protector repeating a cycle of grief. Shalabal realizes the team's resolve mirrors her own. They will never trade Franklin. Seeing their unyielding bond, she relents, urging them to take the child and flee the doomed planet while they can. She offers to stay behind, accepting her fate. Reed refuses the escape hatch. They will not leave Earth to die. They stand their ground, united as a family, just as a phone rings in the silence of the ruined lab. Reed communicates his desperate plan across communication lines flooded with frantic calls from around the world. The team must bring Galactus away from his ship and to Times Square. Instead of moving a planet away from the cosmic threat, they reverse the strategy, moving the danger away from the Earth. Every power grid on the eastern seaboard routes through its last functioning bridge, charging it back up. The portal remains open for precisely 37 seconds. Ben questions the logistics, mentioning the millions of families surrounding their position in the city center. Sue proposes using Franklin as the lure. Ben rejects the idea immediately, dismissing it as a stupid plan. Sue acknowledges the moral weight of the decision, but insists it is their only option. An elevator descends into Subterranea, revealing Harvey's underground sanctuary where thousands of citizens shelter from the surface devastation. The newscaster's voice echoes through screens, urgent and solemn. Citizens are encouraged to spend their final hours with loved ones, clinging to hope. Ben helps an elderly neighbor with supplies. A woman named Rachel speaks to someone about maintaining hope, while a dignified stranger visits a nearby place of prayer. The broadcast concludes with an inspiring message about committed citizens changing the world. Galactus emerges, his breathing audible, his form scanning the landscape below. The creature detects something, the hidden presence of Franklin. The team positions itself, braced for the confrontation. The ground trembles as Galactus moves closer. Johnny transforms into flame, igniting the battlefield. Ben, his rocky form decisive and resolute, moves forward. Galactus groans, a sound that reverberates through the arena like a dying god. The creature's sensors buzz frantically, narrowing in on Franklin's location. Panting, desperate, the team launches its attack. Ben shouts for Johnny to intensify the flames. The fire blazes against the cosmic entity's armor. Ben screams, pushed to his physical limit. Reed concentrates on executing calculations and adjustments in real time. Johnny focuses his entire being on the moment. Suddenly, Ben and Johnny recite their ritual a defiant promise that it's clobberin' time. The team realizes Galactus targets Franklin with precise, calculated intent. The creature speaks in a voice that carries hunger across dimensions. Franklin cries persistently, frightened and overwhelmed. Sue throws an invisible force field around the child, but the effort drains her rapidly. Reed urges her to stop before the strain becomes fatal. Sue refuses, demanding Reed save their son. The invisible walls shatter under Galactus's power. Ben screams, pulling Sue back. Johnny moves to control the bridge's energy release. The portal crackles with building energy 37 seconds to change everything. Johnny glances back at the team and utters his final words. Tell Franklin Uncle Johnny loves him. The cosmic entity roars, his form expanding, consuming the hero in a blaze of desperate sacrifice. The portal ignites, and Galactus is violently ejected into the far edges of the universe, stranded without his ship. Sue collapses, her body lifeless. Reed catches her, begging her to stay with him. Franklin cries, orphaned in an instant. Breathing heavily, Reed rocks the boy, his voice breaking as he repeats Sue's name over and over. Days pass. Sue's eyes flutter open. She gasps, alive. Reed holds her close, exhales with profound relief.